What's up guys, Mike aka Phony BFF Report, and today I'm gonna take a look at a game called Planetside 2. I know a lot of you guys are like, wait a minute, you already talked about Planetside 2. That was the beta. Beta first impressions. This is gonna be, I've logged tons and tons of hours in playing this game. I've killed so many of my teammates in this game. I definitely know how certain things work. Time to talk about it. The first beta impressions was when beta was relatively early. Not like early, but it was definitely not long after the NDA was dropped, if I recall correctly. But it was episode 120. I would recommend going and watching that to get the gist of general things, and then come back and watch this one to get the gist of things that have changed, because they've made a lot of pretty significant changes. And while they've definitely made a lot of smaller changes, like the Sunders are all of a sudden important, while they've made a lot of smaller changes like that, it's too much stuff to cover in like one BFF. That would be like a guide, which I'm not doing. So go watch episode 120, come back and watch this one. No idea what episode number this is. I'm pretty sure it's probably 122, because that's about how many BFF reports I've done lately. Damn new father business and holidays. But anyways, let's go and take a look, and stay tuned afterwards for more BS. So as always, we kick things off with character creation, which has not changed at all since beta, which is fine, right? We don't care about that stuff. Their faces are covered like 99% of the time anyways. You're not gonna see anyone's favorite fucking haircut. It's not gonna happen. And SOE knows that this stuff is kind of useless and secondary to performance. When you have 2,000 people fighting on a single continent, not a single one of those people are gonna be looking at the other team saying, man, I wonder what skin tone he's using. That and the fact that adding that to everything else that the game has to calculate in real time while you're fighting these gigantic fucking battles is kind of silly. Now what they did do is make serious changes to what happens immediately following your character creation. You're gonna click play for the first time, and you're gonna get a video that pops up. It's gonna tell you about how your team's #1, everybody else's team sucks, boo. And if you were in beta, you're probably thinking, okay, time to go to the warp gate, right? No. Now, they drop you right in the middle of the biggest fucking battle they could find, and just pray that you're not gonna stand there in the middle of a giant firefight and try to figure out what each control does. Now, this is both a great way to introduce people to Planetside 2, and it's also a terrible way. And the reason why I say it's terrible is because some people will just not get it. They're gonna come into this game, and now I'm not one of these people. I don't understand, I cannot relate to this, but here's how I figure it. I've just downloaded an MMO FPS. That means I'm playing a gigantic first-person shooter. So when I first get in the game and I come crashing out of the sky and I land and I'm holding a gun and I hear gunshots everywhere, my first instinct should be what? Find the bad guys, shoot them in the face. Well, how do I know who's the bad guy? Well, let's see. I picked a team, right, initially, so I'm either purple, red, or blue, one of the three, which means the bad guys are the ones that are not the color that I chose. And if for some reason you happen to go and shoot the wrong guy, what happens? The universal symbol for stop fucking shooting this guy pops up, and then it plays a sound. Beep, beep, beep. I guess I should probably stop shooting this guy. Now, after the fight's over, assuming that you've gone ahead and won this battle, you probably did nothing to help them out, so don't pat yourself on the shoulder just yet. But if you look around, you're gonna see symbols all over the place that you have no idea what they do. But it shouldn't take long to figure out at least some of them. Like, for example, the generators. If you look at the walls, the big force field, you're gonna see a couple symbols on them. Well, look for that symbol on your HUD. If you see that symbol somewhere, that means that generator controls that. And if there's 2 symbols on this force field, then guess what? 2 generators will have to be taken down in order to bring down this force field. Now, this is the absolute basic stuff you're gonna be exposed to in the first 5 minutes of the game. You're gonna have to spend some time to understand everything else. I understand that some of you guys maybe wanna go watch a 5-minute video on YouTube instead of sitting there and actually playing, observing, and learning, or maybe even talking to other people in the game to try to figure out how to do things. It's an MMO. People don't talk to each other in these games. You guys know this. Now, currency in the game has changed just a little bit, enough to make it simpler to understand. You're not gonna have 5,000 different types of currency chilling in the lower left corner of your UI while you're trying to figure out what each one of them does. No, it doesn't exist. They do, however, spread out this kind of overlay on the map to show you which nodes contribute to which specific resource that you need to gain in order to get, like, let's say a tank or an aircraft. But those specific nodes are not going to deal with on your own. You're gonna probably be following orders from somebody who's been playing the game for a while, and they know which nodes strategically, which nodes they should probably attack first. So don't worry about that. You're gonna learn that as you go along. You don't enlist in the army and go in as Command Sergeant Major of the 125th Light Infantry Division. It doesn't work that way. You have to work your way up. You learn, you get experience, you rank up, and then you assume command. But for you, the E1, fresh out of basic, right, you're gonna be focusing on unlocking things to make you a better soldier, make your character better at what he does, and you do this by gaining certs. And your character is always accumulating these almost no matter what you're doing. You can log off for like days and come back and have like 5 to 10 certs depending on, you know, if you're a premium member or if you're a free member. Now, it's up to you to determine what it is you want to spend these things on, but I will tell you this. There are a ton of unlocks available. If you scroll through the different vehicles, the different characters and all that stuff, you can unlock a lot of stuff for one cert. How do you get one cert? Breathe heavy near an enemy base. There you go, there's a cert. Do yourself a favor, go through, look at these, and just throw a cert at all of the, no matter what it is that you pick up, whether it's a heavy or a medic or a flash or a liberator, no matter what you pick up, it's going to be just that much better than what it was. Now, on top of gaining certs for just about anything you do, you're also gonna be gaining experience for pretty much anything you do. If you're an engineer, drop that ammo supply anytime there's people standing around. Just drop it, and you're gonna just gain stuff passively. If you're a medic, turn around and point that gun at somebody and shoot them, the one that heals them, preferably. You'll get experience for doing that too. Now, as you gain battle rank, you unlock things like loadouts, you unlock new decals to put on your armor. It says like, yo, you're on private first class, or whatever it is that you put on your shoulder, new titles. And when you get to level 10, that's when you unlock things like the squad beacon, which is extremely important to have. Get to level 10, get that squad beacon, because all it does is you throw it on the ground, and anybody in your squad can just hot drop in right there on the spot. The downside, of course, is that it's the fucking bat signal sitting out there, so the enemy will definitely see it. So don't expect to just drop it and just leave it alone. It's gonna sit there all day long and just be an awesome spawn beacon for you guys. It's not gonna happen. Now, as you're playing, you're obviously gonna notice that you're taking over these nodes, and basically you're spreading your faction's influence across whatever continent it is that you're on. And what happens when you basically dominate everything except for the invincible warp gates that belong to the opposing factions? What happens there? Well, it's called continent locking, but it doesn't really lock. There are benefits to owning everything on a single map, there really is, but it's not that big of a deal, honestly, because you're not really kicking the other teams off the island completely. They always have the opportunity to come back. You're gonna get some bonuses, but so what? You're not actually locking it down. So here's the biggest problem. They can't lock down a continent in its current state, right? They could probably make some changes and make this work, but think about it. There's 6,000 people per server, 2,000 people max per continent. If they lock down one continent, that means 2,000 people are gonna be looking for something else to do. You already own everything on that continent. There's not a whole lot there to do, right? You're gonna be spreading out to the other continents. So what happens? You've basically just eliminated a giant chunk of your server capacity right there. Now, if they do this and you're a member of the opposite faction, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna go play another game, right? You're not gonna sit there and try to log on and wait in a queue and all that stuff forever. You're just gonna go and play something else, or play on another server maybe, they hope. So now what's SOE gonna do, right? Right now, it's a bad idea to do this for the reasons I just pointed out, and probably several others. So in my opinion, the only thing that we can really do is just wait until they put more continents out. When you have more continents available to you, then locking one is not gonna be quite as devastating as locking 1 out of 3, right? I mean, think about it. 1 out of 5 versus 1 out of 3. Not that big of a deal. But however SOE decides to go ahead and make that happen, it's totally up to them. I think having a lockout would be cool when you have like 5 to 7 continents. Having 3, not so much. Now let's talk a little bit about certs, cert gain, cert spending, all that stuff in conjunction with the cash shop. The cash shop is obviously always going to be an area of contention in any free-to-play game because everybody has their own opinions on what a cash shop should have and what it shouldn't have. I honestly think that in this situation, my opinion is probably going to be the least favorite, but I'm okay with that because it's my opinion. The cost for a weapon in Planetside 2, and we'll focus primarily on weapons because yes, you get camo and you get all that stuff, but I think besides the cosmetic stuff, people are more concerned about weapons, and I am too. Now, a weapon costs between $2.50 and $7. There might be some leeway there, but let's just go ahead and say the average cost of a weapon is about $5. No problem, we're gonna work with that number. I went ahead and I threw down some money on the Crow, which is a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher for the heavy assault, and what it does is it will lock on to ground armored vehicles only. It will not lock on to any aircraft, and that's it. That's all it does. It's the only thing that sets it apart from a regular rocket launcher is the fact that it will lock on to ground armor. Now, for a second, after I went outside and I started shooting it, I kind of had buyer's remorse, but it was for like a second until common sense kicked in and I was like, oh hey, no, this actually makes sense. You see, when I went outside after spending $7 hard-earned dollars, I wasn't like destroying everything in my path, and I was kind of disappointed that the game didn't suddenly turn into a Michael Bay film, and I didn't understand why this thing was not just destroying everything. But that was the part when common sense came in and was like, no, dumbass, you can't just spend money on a weapon and just be OP, then the cash shop would be just pretty much null and void, it'd be pay to win. Oh, that's right. Okay, well that kind of makes sense. Well, wait a minute. Every other time that I've died, I try to pay attention to the weapons that kill me, right? Because I always assume that when I die, it's because of some kind of OP cash shop weapon. And I noticed the T9 Carve was pretty high up on the list of weapons that I've been killed by. And for the longest time, I actually thought that that was some kind of crazy OP cash shop weapon. As I went looking for it, I couldn't find it. And then I find out that it's a stock weapon that you get as a TR. It's like, this is your basic weapon. But wait a minute, I'm dying to this thing so much. Clearly it's OP. It has to be a cash shop item. No, it's not. And the Crow rocket launcher really helped back that up for me. All right, so what was the point of getting it? Well, I guess having the ability to lock on to armor is great in a support role. It wasn't meant to turn me into a walking anti-tank soldier from the future. It was meant to allow me to better support other tanks and other aircraft and other gunners and people who are gunning for that tank. But the cert cost is ridiculous. I'll agree. The cert cost for 1,000 certs? Are you kidding me? That's a joke, right? Well, I kind of think it is. I think it's there for the hardest of the hardcore, the people who are super broke or super cheap, one of the two. And I'll be honest, that's not the target demo for SOE. You know why? Because they're not gonna make any money off these people. You're just there to make somebody else's experience better. That's all you're doing. You're providing a service for SOE by providing a service to other players. And then the service to you is that you get to play for free, and if you rack up 1,000 certs in a month, then you could buy a weapon for free. See how that works? And on top of that, if you go and spend 1,000 certs on a weapon, if you're not one of those two people I described, ultra cheap, ultra broke, then you're kind of an idiot. Or, you know, there's the small chance that you're one of those people that just happens to have a ton of spare certs laying around, like 1,000. If you enjoyed the game long enough to get 1,000 certs, when we're talking hours, like maybe, I'll just throw it out there, maybe 75 hours or something, right? 50 to 75 hours of like going in, occasionally getting into some good fights or something. Okay, I might be way off on this. I'm just making up these numbers here. That's almost a full-time job. And if you have the nerve to complain about a $7 weapon in a game that you've already logged 70 hours in, clearly enjoying every single hour of that 70 hours, think about it. All they want is $1 for every 10 hours that you've played. Is that so much to ask? I don't think so. And that's for the expensive weapons. They're the cheap ones that you could go and buy for nothing. And still, your 1,000 certs is absurd. Yes, I agree. Is cert gain slow? Yes, it's pretty slow. Unlocking stuff for my weapons and for my vehicles is kind of slow, yes. But if I really want a weapon, I'll make a sandwich instead of going out to eat. I'll skip out on the Diet Rockstar for 2 days. I'm not here to tell anybody how to manage their finances. All I'm saying is that, yes, those cert prices are ridiculous, but they're not there for you. They're not. If you're not ultra broke, if you're not ultra cheap, then SOE is obviously expecting you to hand out, you know, $1 every 30 to 70 hours, if you don't mind. Now, I definitely have a history of beating up cash shops. That's for sure. Draken's saying that's a pretty good example. I beat the hell out of that cash shop. And the reason why is because the weapons and the stuff that they're offering in their cash shop was way OP for the stuff that you have to work for in the game. In this case, this is actually a bit more even because the weapons and things that I've acquired through the cash shop have not considerably changed my gameplay style. Yes, maybe my Reaver can now shoot ground forces and do damage that way. That's fine. What am I gonna do against another mosquito or a scythe or something? You see, there's a trade-off here. Buying one thing didn't make me the all-powerful Planetside 2 super god. It just made me marginally more efficient at one thing, and that was it. Now, I'll be honest, I did originally intend on going in and buying a whole bunch of stuff from the cash shop so I could show you guys like what is OP and what's not. But unfortunately, I ended up spending a little bit of money on El Masculino here, and well, let's just say I don't regret any of it. All right, so to add to the rant, this is the BS part, right? To add to that little free-to-play rant, I understand that I probably, I may have alienated a few of you, and that was not my intent. My intent is simply that I have a certain level of respect for developers, and that respect is greater than supersizing my number 3, or even going out to eat for, you know, for McDonald's or something like that. Like if in my mind, if I'm like, you know what? I can make a sandwich or go get McDonald's. McDonald's, it's a terrible example. It's In-N-Out. That's a good example. I could go I could make a sandwich or go to In-N-Out. In-N-Out's delicious, but here's In-N-Out, here's developers for the games that I absolutely love. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and drop In-N-Out, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw that money at developers that I respect. And this is one of the cases where I respect SOE and the things they do, and how forward they are with certain information, sometimes a little bit too forward. Follow J_Smedley and you'll see what I'm talking about. The guy was just not afraid to just say whatever the F he wants on Twitter all the time. And it's great. It's good for us because it's unfiltered. But definitely a game that I'm looking forward to continuing my gameplay on, honestly. So feel free to let me know what your comments are. Probably get a lot of feedback for the rant portion of it. A lot of you guys probably agree. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. And of course, follow me at AKMikeB on Twitter, Facebook, and all of that good stuff. I have some stuff coming out very shortly. I'm actually gonna record a quick vlog to post to my YouTube channel, so go check it out to kind of outline certain things I have coming up, especially for this month. One thing I can tell you right now is that I have the top 5 most controversial games for 2012 coming out sometime this month. I have a terrible habit of putting them out in January because I feel like the year's not over until 2012. Like if I had put it out the first week of December, was it last year or whatever, would have messed out on the SWTOR good stuff. So we're gonna wait, or we're gonna try to hold out as long as we can. Maybe put out before Christmas, which I guess is like not very long from now. Crap. Yes. Okay. So soon. See you guys later.